Alright, so in the previous session we saw how we were able to analyze links, um, analyze links of a given page, and in this session we'll try to build on top of that. Okay, so um, now one thing we can do here is if I enter the URL of my blog, let's see what happens. So hmm, it's failing. It says no function clause matching so and so. And let's look at the logs to see what's happening. One very neat thing about Erlang and by Erlang Elixir is whenever it fails, it gives you the function which it tried to call with all the arguments with their actual values. It's very neat. So here, if you see, it says it's trying to call A, and this was one of the things which I was expecting is here. If you see, the child node of this link is empty. See that? Because this doesn't have any text inside of it. There's a link called main nav toggle with a class called nav icon without any children, without any text inside of it. And this is failing because in our parse links method, we expect the anchor tag to have one single text node. So that's going to fail in case like these. Okay. So let's fix that. So what we need to do here is, if it doesn't have text, do we even try to see if it's a valid link? I think not. So what we'll do here is we'll add another arm to our function. We'll say we don't care what the arguments are, and we'll return a null object. Okay, so here we're saying if it has another thing which is a possibility is it might have we might have an anchor tag like this. href is something, and inside of this we could have a span and some text. So this is another case which we need to handle, but right now we are ignoring. Okay, so for now I'm just going to say if it doesn't have a single text node inside of the anchor tag, we're going to ignore it. And this is another thing which we may run into. If the anchor tag doesn't have an href, this is going to fail. So we'll have to fix that too. But for now, we'll just say parse links does this, and once it's done the mapping, it's going to filter out the nils. So I'll just say function x such that x is present, or we could say ampersand 1 like that. Okay, so that's good. Let's restart our server and reload our page, and it's failed again. Let's see why that is now. It says no match on the right hand side of value of nil on line number 31. Line number 31 is this, right? So here again, this is a case where we have an anchor tag without an href. So this would be nil. So in that case, so we need to handle that. So we'll say if. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to find an attribute whose name is href. If we find it, then we're going to return this. If we don't find it, we're going to return a nil. Okay. And there's that end. Okay. So this is turning out to be very messy. So what we'll do here is we'll say extract link, and I'm gonna move this anonymous method inside of into this extract link method. So everything here is going to be the same except that. Okay, so extract link and def b extract link, right? So that's for the case where it doesn't match that. So there's probably an extra n somewhere. So this is for, okay, yeah, so we have an extra arrow there. And we forgot to do. So that looks good, right? So extract link is going to see if we have a single text node and a single href element, then it's going to be a proper node, otherwise it's going to be a nil. Okay, so that's good. Now let's restart our server and reload this page, and enum.map of 1 is undefined. So what now? Yeah, enum.map, we need to give it the method to use for doing the mapping. Come on. So here we are doing error-driven development, which is fun. Alright, so now we have a bad argument in the href. So let's go back to this, and it says bad argument. So this is, so I think this is probably because we have an href which is nil. I'm not sure though. So the error here is also not very useful. So what I'm gonna do here is let's say we'll put a debug statement here. Checking link href. I'll do an inspect, and before this we'll say import logger only the debug method, and let's reload this, and hopefully so bad argument. So alright, so it says checking link slash, right? So let's try to run that using httpoison.get slash. Well, that's slash is not really a complete URL, right? So a complete URL needs to have a scheme along with the domain name and the path. So here we don't have the scheme or the host. So this is because if you go to minhajuddin.com, there are probably a bunch of relative links. So when we get a relative link, we need to parse it by appending the complete URL to that. So alright, so let's see how to do that. So what we have here is we have rel is slash, and URL is http //minhajuddin.com, and what we need to do is we need to add these two together. So I know there's a module called URI, which has a method called parse, and so this gives us an actual URI. And let's see, there is a method called merge. There is a method called merge, which takes a URI and a path. So if we call URI.merge, URI.parse URL along with the path, it should merge those two, and if we convert it to a string, it should give us that. Now if I use a, so here instead of that URL, if I use http manhaj-rutin dot, now you may be thinking, well, you know, it's a very simple URL, why don't we just append these two things together? But remember, when we're dealing with relative URLs, things are a bit different, right? So if I'm at foo/bar/bars, and if my relative link is foo, then this should be the final result, foo/bar/foo, because this is a relative link. It replaces just the one after the last slash. But if it is an absolute path like that, it should replace it from the beginning of the path, right? So all of this should be taken care of if you're using URI.merge. So let's use that. Okay, so let's use that to get our links. So we need to use that in parse links. So to parse links, we also have to say I'm gonna pass the body of the HTML and also the URL, and I'll say this is the URL, and in extract link, so so it can't just be an extract link like that. What we need to do here is we have extract link. So alright, so what we need to do is we can't just say extract link here. So I'll say node, and we'll pass to extract link, we will pass the node, which should give us text and href. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna undo this, and what we'll do is we'll do another map. Okay, this is not the ideal scenario where you don't want to map over the same array multiple times, but you know, in this case, let's just do this. Okay, so here we would either have a nil. Okay, so let's do it after the filter. So here in our function, we would have a map containing href, and just to say this is our link, and what we want to do here is we want to do URI.merge. So you know, let's use a simple pipe here. So what we have is we have a URL which we need to parse, right, and which we need to merge with the href, which we need to convert into a string. Okay, and once we have that, that is our href, right? So that is our href, and what we need to do after that is we need to update our map, which is the link, with this new href. Okay, so that should do it. Let's restart our server and see what we get. So now when I refresh this page, you should see it's giving us the full paths, full URLs, instead of just the relative paths. See? Alright, so it's going through all the links. This is very nice to see. Alright, awesome, very nice. And it's going through all the links, and hopefully by the end of this it should print out the links which are broken. Okay, this is good progress, and finished v1. Okay, alright, so it's going on and on and on. Alright, anyway, so with that taken care of, one thing which you may you have noticed is it's taking a lot of time to load this page. And one way to remedy this is we can store this stuff into an ETS table, create a process in the background which goes through this page and fills up the ETS table with the right things. So so let's do that. All right. So the idea here is we will show this analyze page as soon as we hit the form submission. Okay, and we will show whatever broken links we found within the page loading. Okay, and in the background we would then use the same URL and keep building the broken links, and when the user refreshes this we would show that new data. All right, so this may seem very abstract, so let's actually start doing it. You'll understand it easily then. Right, so for this we need a storage mechanism, and we'll be using something called ETS. Okay, so ETS is something which Erlang gives us, and it's an ephemeral in-memory storage. Right, it's a simple in-memory database, and what it allows us to do is it allows us to create a new table like that, and it takes two arguments, a name and some options. Okay, and it allows us to insert data into it. I'll say ETS insert an ID and some data. Okay, so key value. All right, and we can insert another one here, and it has a bunch of methods, so we can say lookup for key 1 or key 2 or key 3, which is not present. Well, actually key 3 is present, but key 2 is not present. Right, so this allows us to store data, and the neat thing about ETS is it's a very high, it's a very performant storage, and one downside of that is since it's in memory, whenever you restart your application it's gonna go away. Right, but that's okay for us. All right, so to start an in-memory store, what we're going to do is we can go to, so initially let's do it the dirty way. All right, so the easy way. So we know that the application is started using this start method, and what we can do here is we can create a new ETS table, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to use an option called named table, which will allow us to reference this using the URLs atom, and I'll also use public access. So if we go to the documentation of ETS, the new method takes a name. Let me go there. Takes a name and a bunch of options, and the options list can have a name, table, atom, and some access information, and we'll use the public access, and it also allows us to set the tweaks, which is write concurrency and read concurrency. So we'll say write concurrency is true and read concurrency is true. Okay, so that's a good set of defaults for us, and that is not the best way to initialize an ETS table, but for now this is good. All right, so what we've done is we've created an in-memory data store when the application is started. Okay, and what we are going to do next is in our page controller, whenever analyze is called, instead of doing the work here inside of the request process, what we'll do is we will just use ETS to insert the URL into the database, into the URLs database. So I'll say insert the URL, and we'll insert it with an empty list. Okay, and once we do that, we will also render the broken links. Okay, but there are no broken links here, right? So for now, I'll just say broken links. Broken links is an empty list. All right, and we'll get rid of this. All right, so we've inserted something into the ETS store. However, we need to do the actual work of calling Page Analyzer and looping through those links and adding them into the ETS store, right? So that we can do inside another process, right? So here I'm going to say spawn another process and do our actual work inside this process. Okay. However, we don't have to do we don't have to respond to that to those changes. I'm sorry, to the result of the analyze call. All right. So, or this could be using MFA. This could be shortened to spawn. The module is that. The method is that. And the only argument is the URL. Right? So here we are spawning a new process, and that's supposed to be doing all the work. All right. So which is good, but still, so a few things here. What the idea here is, when a user visits the analyze page, we take the URL, we insert it into ETS, we run the analysis in a different process, but if it is already present, so all right, let's see what should happen, right? So user, so I'm gonna open a new buffer here. So user submits URL, right? And this page loads. There's nothing there, right? And the user refreshes, and I'm hoping by this time there are some broken links, and we show those broken links, right? So when the user refreshes, the user is essentially reloading this. And with our current logic, what's happening is we're inserting into the URLs ETS table the same URL, and we are overwriting, we're just setting the empty list here, right? So what should happen here is ETS has a method called member, right? So let's just do some experimentation. So this ETS table, which we created earlier, has a key called 3, and if you want to see if 3 is present, we can use the member method. So we could say if ETS member URL, and in the URLs database, so if it's already a member, we don't want to insert and spawn another process. So we want to do that only if it is not a current member, right? If it is already a member, what we need to do is we need to get the broken links by doing an ETS lookup, right? So I'll say broken links, and using the ETS lookup URLs. Okay, so this is nice, right? And so what I'm gonna say here is broken links is, if it is already a member, we'll get the broken links using the existing ETS table. If not, we'll just return an empty list. Okay, so that's nice. And let's reload this page. Right, so let's restart the server. Alright, let's look at our page, and here it says there are a few links which are broken, right? And that's fine, that's fine. And what we'll do here is I'll kill the server and restart it, and I'll use I think I stopped my other server, so let me start this simple development server. And it has a few broken links, right? So we'll go to this page, add this, and it doesn't show any broken links even if I refresh this any number of times. Okay, so let's add some debugging here and see what's going on, right? So we'll say debug existing URL fetching from ETS. Okay, and import logger only debug 1, right? And here new URL insert into ETS. Okay, so let's restart our server and refresh this page. I'm hitting refresh a few times, and if you look at the logs, it says existing URL, and the first time should be new URL, right? New URL insert into ETS, and after that each instance is existing URL fetching from ETS, right? And let's also add some logging in page analyzer where we may have some logging, right? We have checking link. So let's see if we got that. So alright, so here if you see, it's printed checking link, right? And the idea was if the link was broken, we insert it back into the ETS table. So here the idea was get all the broken links and insert them into ETS, and that way we can, you know, from the controller pluck it from ETS. Here we push it into ETS, right? So what are we gonna do here? We'll say once we found all the links, we will just do an ETS insert into URLs with the URL and the broken links, right? And we don't really have to return anything here, so we'll just say okay, error, and you can say error error, right? And let's import that too. So we'll get this guy, put him in the top, see, get error true. Alright, so that's good. And let's restart our server and see. Alright, so there's error, oh, so this is oops, so I mistyped that. And so now you see what happened when I went to this page the first time. It was empty. So let me try it with a different page. So I'm gonna say localhost slash question mark 3, right? So now if I go to that, you see it's empty. And if you go look at the logs, um, it says checking link, checking link, checking link, right? So this is happening after it rendered our page. And when it checked this, it should have found this is broken and this is broken, and inserted these two into the ETS table. And now if I refresh this page, it should show those two links. And sure enough, it does, right? So this is very neat. I'm very glad how this has turned out to be. So awesome. Good job. Let's pat ourselves on the back. All right. So we've covered a lot of ground in this session, right? And one last thing I want to do here is I want to get these broken links as I find them. All right. So one thing which our page is kind of bad at is if I go to http://manajruddin.com and I go there, refresh this page, it's the problem with this is it's going to show me all the broken links only at the end of its analysis. So what I want is, as I refresh the page, I want to see all the links and the broken links as they are found. So so we need to change a bit of code here, and so what's happening here is we have enum filter, and instead of this, we found all the links here, right? So we'll say, let me rewrite this a bit using pipes. So I'll say get the URL, parse the links, and for each of those links, right? So function link, we want to do something, right? What do we want to do if it is broken, right? If it's a broken link, what do we want to do? We want to insert it into the ETS table, right? So we want to insert it into that ETS table, right? But we don't want to overwrite everything, right? We don't want to overwrite everything. So we'll say ETS lookup URL, right? And this is going to match the URL and the current links, right? So the current broken links, right? There's going to be an empty list at the start, and then it's going to have more URLs. So we got that, and once we have that, we're going to insert the broken links list with the new link appended to the start of it, right? So this is nice. This is nice. What this is going to do is, as we find broken links, we will keep appending to our list, and this should show us broken links as they're found. Okay, so that's a that's another nice thing. And let's refresh this page, and as I keep refreshing, it should show me broken links. And right now it's going through the links, and it's not finding any broken links. So all right, so we could change this code a little bit. We could say if broken link, we could say this ETS table is going to have all the links, and so let's change it a bit. So I'm changing the storage strategy here, I'm saying I don't care if it is a broken link. We're going to insert that into the ETS table regardless, but we will also store a marker which says if the link is broken. Okay, so what we're doing here is so we are appending tuples with the link and a boolean which says if this is a broken link. Okay, so that's nice. This way we'll have all the links listed, and we'll have to change the analyze page a little bit here, and it's going to be a bunch of tuples, and is broken, and if it is broken, I'm gonna add a marker here. So I'll say if broken, if is broken, I'll say cross, otherwise we'll say yeah, let's just let's just think for a moment that's a check mark. All right, so let me stop the server and start it again. There's a problem there. It says lookup is a private method. So it says page analyzer line number 15. Page analyzer line number 15. Is the controller. Page analyzer line number 15. Lookup. Yeah, we forgot the table name. So let's recompile this, restart this, and so now it's, if you see, so broken link.txt is that's weird. That is very weird. Yeah. I see what's happening. So do you guys see what's happening? Broken link.txt is now a tuple containing time, datetime, and stuff like that. So the reason for this is if you remember our matcher, which is extract link matcher, it says it has to be the anchor tag should have one node inside of it, which we thought would fail if it had a span tag, but it doesn't seem to fail if we have more tags because it parses them like this, which is alright. So what we'll do here is so here it says this is a tuple containing a time tag, and attributes is date time, and text as, well, it's not really text, it's another node with the same stuff. So we have two nodes. Well, are these two nodes? So let's actually, so one thing we can't do here is we can't analyze the data in the ETS table because it's running inside Mix Phoenix server. So one thing we can do is if you use IEXS Mix and Phoenix server, this gives us a nice IEX console which allows us to inspect the data present inside of this process. So now we can say ETS table to list and URLs, and it's empty right now. But if I refresh this page, it should have elements. If you see, it's I'm just refreshing that, and it keeps. So here, if you see, the text node is text node is a tuple containing time and stuff like that. So it's failing because there's no toString on these tuples. So a quick fix for that would be when we display text, it could just say inspect, right? So that's a quick fix, and restart the server. And now this should be a bit ugly, but that's all right. Yeah. So it says all these V's are check marks. So let me actually get a Unicode check mark, and let's get a check mark. That's nice. Right. So image UTF-8. So let's get that, and I'm gonna say it's a check mark, and also make it color is green, and we'll also get the X mark Unicode, and let's get that looks good. And let's call, let's make this red, and font size is 4 em, and yeah, inline fonts are very bad, but that's fine, right? We just want to see. Awesome. You see, we have nice check marks. So these are all good links, and if I refresh this page, if there are any broken links, we should see the red check marks, right? So this is really nice. It's turned out to be very nice. So there's just one thing pending, which is we're still analyzing a single page, and we're not analyzing all the links on our okay, so we have a few X's, so that's good. Maybe those are timeouts. Alright, so anyway, we could also do grouping and show the X's on the top and stuff like that. So it says this thing is not working. Let's actually go there and see if it's broken, and it doesn't seem to be broken. Maybe it's timing out too soon. Anyway, so we can change the timeout and play with those things, but this is a very good start, and actually we are close to the end. The only thing pending at this moment is analyzing the whole site instead of a single page, and let's do that in the next screencast. And till then, have a great day. Bye.